My daughter called, and every time she calls, even if I don't answer, in just a minute or two, it'll disconnect the stream. So I just went ahead and picked up because I knew it was going to be disconnected anyhow. I don't know why it disconnects. If I don't answer it, it shouldn't disconnect the stream, but it does something to the stream. Shoot, my windshield is a mess. Well, I'm officially in Virginia, and this road, well, it's kind of like, I feel like it's the last leg. At least this road will get me home, so I gotta be careful because the cops are really bad all along this road. Yeah, I let her know that I was leaving, so if she keep an eye on things, but she does anyhow, so. But thank you. I'll just wait for her to arrive up here. I appreciate that, Shirlene. Thank you. You guys stay safe. I know you got it under control, but hey, Jason, how's it going? You got out of Orlando just in time. Oh man, the moon is gorgeous. Hopefully I'll turn so you guys can see it. There's clouds across the front of it, but it's absolutely gorgeous. Disney was awesome. Good. Glad you had a great time. Give me just a minute and hopefully you'll... Hey, Joe. Oh, unless it went behind the clouds. No, I think it's behind the trees. Give me just a minute. No, it's behind the clouds. Oh, man, it was awesome looking, too. Hey, Patricia. Aw, thank you. Appreciate that. And that's what I was afraid of. I really wish I... Hey there. I am about it. I'm supposed to be there at 7:30. See, isn't this nice, you riding along with me? Thanks for jumping on. I waved as I passed east of you. All right, I'm hoping I can show you the moon in a minute, so you guys be paying attention. It's really cool with the clouds across the front of it, but they're hiding right now. Definitely. Should probably have some bad weather in DeLand, that's for sure. Cool. That's very cool. Everyone, I don't know whether you can see in the chat. I can see the Facebook. I don't know whether you can or not, but my aunt's on here. So say hey to my Aunt Sue. Yeah, the weather's going to be nasty, but hopefully nothing severe. Charlene, you got those chickens and ducks all rounded up, or I should say Slim, do you have all the chickens and ducks rounded up and secured? Oh, really? They've already evacuated some? Is that due to them being low, like for flooding? Aw, thank you, Charlene. Can you kind of see the sky up there with the moon behind it? I think you can see it. The moon is behind those clouds. I was hoping it would peep out. I got to see it when it peeped out, and it was awesome. You can just see a little bit of light behind those clouds. Hey, U-Haul, are you back? Are you still in Arkansas? Okay, good. I had no doubt, Slim, that you had it under control. Oh, yeah. Okay, you see the moon is trying to peep out behind those clouds in front of us. Very cool. Sorry. Now I'm going to start coughing. So they're actually concerned that the Beachville Road and the buildings will be damaged, so they got to get the people out. That makes sense. This is still the same cough that I've had since July. Well, then I was sick in July, then I got the croup. So I've had this cough since forever. I think it's just part of me now. But it causes a tickle and then it makes me cough. But is it just, I've got cough drops. That doesn't really do it, but is it Mucinex or Mucinex DM that I need? Is that the one that dries it up? Moon peeping out up there. Look at that. Look how cool that looks. That little Mother Nature show I'm showing you up there. Look how cool that looks. The cough drops don't do it, but I did think about getting some Mucinex. I hate to be coughing all the way through the wedding, right? Thank you for the advice, Dr. U-Haul. Exactly, Slim. Exactly. And they'll wonder whether I'm really coughing because I want to intervene or not. Yeah, Charlene, everyone needs to listen and pay attention. Stay safe. It just became a hurricane, Joe? Oh, dang. Of course it would, just before landfall. Everyone there in Florida, be safe, be careful, because the whole state will be affected, if nothing else, by the wind field. Joe, did you batten down your hatches? Yeah. When you say hit, it's just when it comes in, it just covers the whole state. Then it's looping up and coming up the coast. Yeah. Hey, Brittany. I'm almost there. 7:30, but it's a 12 to 14 hour trip. If I get there at 7:30, it will have been a 13 hours. But thanks for checking in. Yeah, the waiting is hard. It really is. And Brittany, you're right. It's already cold up here. I stopped to get gas right before the Virginia line, and I nearly froze to death because I didn't have a jacket on. And I had short sleeves on, and I have capris on, so I still am dressed for Florida with sandals. So tomorrow's attire will be a little bit warmer. I did bring long sleeves, and I've got a jacket, so I think I'll be good. Absolutely. And your dad reached out to me to see if I could help him. And I said, yes. And I said, give him my cell phone. And then I never heard from him. So I don't know whether that means that he, found someplace or, but definitely he can reach out to me, because where he's going to be, it's just around, it's real close to where I work. So definitely when you guys come down, for sure, we have to catch up. That would be great. Okay, take your. It's because he's a guy. I think it's because he's a guy, Brittany. But he's welcome to reach out to me anytime. So if you talk to him, or I'll talk to your dad, and relay. And I did send your dad a message day before yesterday to say that I hadn't heard anything, that I'm glad to help in any way that I can, but I hadn't heard anything. So anything that I can do. Hey, Gator Girl. Florida does give you an excuse to come visit. There's an aircraft over top of me. I feel like they're monitoring the speed up here. Up there, down here. I did not stop to eat. I stopped and got gas and pottied, and then I think I got back on after that. My daughter is waiting for me. She's going to order cheesesteaks. That's why she called, and I got knocked off again. She's going to order cheesesteak sandwiches for us to have when I get there. Because the groom is with his family, and they're having some big crab feast. And she's allergic to crabs and doesn't like seafood, so she sent him on his way. Yes, absolutely. Yes, you got 2 reasons to come to Florida now. And then you can get your mom to come over and visit at the same time. It says 7:35 is my arrival time. He doesn't have crabs. He's having crabs. That's funny. No, not much longer. That's for sure. Although it does not seem like it's been as long as it has been. So I think live streaming and talking to everybody has definitely passed the time. It doesn't feel like it's going to be 13 hours. So remember, we have to do this again on Sunday. We have to do the trip back on Sunday. So I need you to ride along with me then. And again, I have to call out to whoever's on Twitch. I have one person that's been on Twitch riding along almost this whole entire trip. So I have to tell them thank you. But thank you to everyone who's popped on here and rode with me, even if it's just for a few minutes, or who's rode with me for a long time. So All right, Gator Girl. I appreciate that. But the person I was just talking to about her brother and helping and all, that's my niece. Um, so I've had two family members pop on here, which is very nice. And I've had some other people. Having the Facebook connection is very nice because people that know me from Facebook, family and all, can jump on here, which is cool. But I don't think you can't see their conversations, but I can see everyone's comment. And it shows me by your name as to if you're on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch or Twitter. If you comment, that's how I know. So, yeah, it's very neat. You all can't see it, but from my standpoint, I can see from all four platforms. If someone comments, I can see everyone's comment and see where they're commenting from. Have you been there all day though? Because someone's been there. We did have somebody though. He commented. He was on there earlier today, and he was on there for quite some time. So I thought maybe it was him. But it's nice because I've got. They have they have regulation too to be able to, to get your quota of whatever. You have to have 50. I don't know if it's 50 subscribers, but you have to live stream so many days out of 7 and so many hours, which is not really hard to do, but it's getting those 50 people on there because I've not been using Twitch very much. Ah, look there. I see there, Joe. So your comment shows both of the icons by your name when you comment. Interesting. Absolutely, Brittany. I would love to catch up with you all. So either here or there. So, but hopefully everything goes well with Josh. And definitely, I'll talk to your dad and tell him to reach out to me because, at least to have somebody's, contact if he ever needs anything while he's down there, I'm not far away. So, for sure. I just want to let you know you have a beautiful family. You and your husband and your two little boys you have a beautiful family, so treasure that. And I will pass on to Jamie that I talked to you, so take care. And then I'll hopefully talk to Josh soon. Yes, I think that's where I am. Yes, I'm on 58, Raven. Yes. Did you recognize it? I will tell her. Thank you so much. Take care, Brittany. Yeah, Raven, I'm on 58. I'm at the Food Lion and the Hardee's, if that tells you where I am. Raven, I think Jamie told me you lived out this way. Yeah, I had forgotten till I saw your name pop up. Man, my car needs washed. It's filthy. Joe, you take care. You stay safe as well. Hopefully all goes well for everyone down there. And don't forget, I'm going to try to live stream from the reception, but I may have to do it on Twitch. So, Joe and Gator, you guys might be able to see the reception from Twitch. I think that's the route I have to go. I might be able to do it to Facebook. I'm not sure. We'll see, but I'm going to try. Bye, Joe. Take care. Hope everything goes well as far as the weather goes. Yeah, Jason was on just earlier. Yes, he said he had a great time. He said Disney was wonderful. He may even be on here. He may not be saying anything, but yes, he was on here not long ago. Jason, are you lurking in the darkness? He sometimes just listens. He's not on there watching the chat. Yep, he said he had a great time. Thanks, James. At least I'm in Virginia now. James is in Elvis country. When I get there, we're going to eat. We got a few things she's got to finish, a few projects. Then we have to go to the airport and pick up the maid of honor. Her plane lands at 10 o'clock. So I still got a long evening ahead of me. I think he's a little bit north of Memphis, right, James? No, he's in Tennessee. Graceland, yeah. A little something you all might not know. But Elvis and I share the same 8th great grandmother. We have the same 8th great grandmother. Yes, really, Gator. When I did the DNA research, and it tells you, well, it used to be really easy, the famous people that you're related to from when you do um, oh goodness, I just forgot what the word is. Your tree, your family tree. It tells you what famous people you're related to, and it shows you the person, and then it shows her, and then me and him both coming from her. We're both. She was our eighth grade. It was very cool. I did a free trial. They had a free trial for 3 days, and I went in and did my whole just one side of the family, my dad's side of the family that I already knew a little bit about. I did the whole, as far as I could go in that 3 days of free trial. That's still the family tree that I go off of. But see, it also helps too, because I already knew that I was related to John Hart, one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence, because he's my sixth great grandfather, and there's a book that starts with him and goes down the generations and ends with my generation, and I'm actually listed in the book. So it helped to be able to have all that information. And then there's two sets of grandparents that came on the Mayflower. Um, they didn't come together. The young man and the young girl, they all came together, but they ended up marrying after they got here. But so two sets of grandparents came on the Mayflower, and the two men signed the Mayflower Compact. Oh, really? That would be very cool. To have dated Elvis, even to say you've dated Elvis. I got some good genes on my dad's side. I mean, some good connections on my dad's side. And that's the one where I've done the most research. Yeah, you need to do it for sure. It was fun. Now, I mean, I did that by, you guys, the moon's going to be incredible right there. Can you see the sky? Look at that. Look at the moon. Yeah, I did all the research. I did the family tree. You can just go in so many directions. It can be overwhelming because you can just keep branching out, especially back then when they had 8 or 10 kids. It really gets kind of overwhelming, so you just have to know what you want to focus on and go with that. Um, and then sometimes there's just a few that, there's no parents listed, so you're at a dead end at that point. You can't go any further. So, but it's very fascinating, very fascinating. And then I did the DNA testing, which when I first did it, which was probably 5 or 6 years ago, there was very few people connected to me. But as more people do the test, then you get more results, family connections to you. And it's grown a lot. I've got a lot of people now that's taken the test that show up, cousins, and and it tells you whether they tell you how you're connected to them, which is neat. And I've actually made contact with several of them. I'd lost contact with my mom's family when she passed away. That side of the family, just because she died so long ago, and she was like they were the last connection, and just it happened, and it was sad. But when those results started coming in, you're able to contact the person, and I made connection with that side of the family now, so I'm so happy. Good things come from that. So now I've gotten that connection with her side of the family, and it's very cool. Yeah, Gator, I say do it. I think it's very interesting, and then they update you as more people take the test. It tells you how that they show you the regions where your DNA comes from, and that's kind of how where your roots are. And but they keep updating it as more people take the test. Then they have more information to go on. So every once in a while you'll get an update on your I guess the ancestor, the relationship, the region that you have the connection to. They run specials on it. I think it's usually like $79 or $89, but every few months they'll have a special for like $59. I think they just had one like a month or so ago. It was for $59, which isn't bad, especially if you have a question or you have a missing family member or something like that you're trying to find. There's a good chance it doesn't even have to be that family member. It's somebody close to them that's got DNA that you could connect to and find them. Just like I found my mom's family. It wasn't even, it was a cousin, but, the connection through the DNA is how they connect you. So it's very cool. Yeah, I think you should. I think you should. Oh, yeah, Nancy, absolutely. Do you know where she is? I mean, do you know who she is? Do you have any connection, or you just know you have a sister? Because that would be very cool to do and see if there's any connections on it. They've had to taken a test, but anybody with DNA that matches into yours that's tested will be linked to you. I find it very fascinating. Then you absolutely need to do it, because you could very easily do a test. When you get your results back, anybody that's tested that matches your DNA, it's gonna be emailed to you. I mean, you may have her, and it shows you the percentage, and it'll tell you, like, say for example, me and my daughter did it at the same time, and of course she comes back. It shows you the percentage of your DNA, how much it matches, and that it has to be probably a child, so that's your child. The fascinating thing is, if they like mix your child up at the hospital, and you test, and that baby comes back saying no match, then that wasn't your baby you took home from the hospital. But if you test and your sister's tested or someone close to her, you may have your answer right there. It's definitely worth a shot. I would definitely do it. Just go online and order your kit. That's all you got to do. Then when you get it, you just swab your cheek, follow the steps, swab your cheek, send it in, and all your information comes back to your email. But it'll even come up with relatives that's third and fourth, like third and fourth cousins. I mean, it's that good. It doesn't just show immediate family. It shows cousins 3 times once removed or whatever, It shows the connection, all of them. I just can't even count how many people I've got connected in my DNA information now, just from them testing. And something else you have to keep in mind, and I'm not saying you, Nancy, but anybody that tests, maybe, you're, this is just generic. Say your dad, had a one night stand and she got pregnant and he didn't know. If you do the test, you might find out you do have a brother or a sister, and your dad never knew. So there's all kinds of scenarios. But this is just, the proof. It's DNA, so. So it could open many doors. I'm just saying that's different examples of, I'm sure a man has probably tested for it and found out he had a child and he had no clue. And I don't know if you've ever watched that show, Long Lost Family. They use the DNA, they use Ancestry a lot now to track down the missing family members. That's become a big part of their search, is the Ancestry and the DNA testing to find the missing family member or whatever. And I can't remember, a year or two ago I watched a show and the woman actually used DNA to find the murderer, or the person who committed the crime through DNA testing. Not the normal way. It was a roundabout way, like 6 steps, and it always led to the person. So they didn't have DNA of the person that did it. I can't remember but it was fascinating how she would find out the person, but it was all through the DNA, this big thing that she had figured out that would bring you back to the person that really was guilty. Yeah, it looks very cool. It's very cool. I'm glad that it's in front of us now and we can see it. It was lower, and now it's up there high behind the clouds. That would be a really cool Halloween moon. Well, Nancy, if you test, you'll have to let us know. Come back on one of the chats and let us know if it led to anything. But that part of it, the testing part of it, will come back. Any family members that has tested, they'll show you the connection and give them either their name, however they're listed on Ancestry, is the information you'll get in your test results. So it's very cool. Then the other side is if you want to do your research, your family tree. You know, you start with you start building your tree, you go with your parents, what you know. Then you have to decide, do you want to go with your mom or your dad, because you got to build the tree both directions. And then as you go to the grandparents, then it grows bigger. Then it just keeps growing in so many directions. So it's just, you know, do you have somebody that you're looking for, or just curious? And, you know, it can become obsessive for one thing, but it is fascinating. Actually, my aunt that was on here, and she may still be on here, but who was on here earlier, that we've connected with, and she knew them, I think, when they were younger, but we all lost track of each other. So now we have connection with them. So it is really cool if you do the testing. Yeah, I got to get me some Mucinex DM or drag out my cough drops. It really is interesting, Nancy. It really, truly is. And that's why I kind of just focused on, because I knew part of the history and I went with that. Far on the tree. She's back. Where's your man at? Usually you're both, if you come, he follows. And you're on here a while ago. And he wasn't here. Hey, Carl. I am in Virginia. I am about 40 minutes from my destination. I'm going through a town named Suffolk, Virginia. It's really spelled Suffolk, Suffolk, but it's pronounced Suffolk. Like Norfolk, it's spelled Norfolk, but it's really pronounced Norfolk. So where I'm going, there's seven cities they all run together. They're all kind of so it's Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Norfolk, which is the home of the Navy. Lots of military bases here. And then there's Hampton, Newport News. How many is that? 5. I can't remember the other ones. I've been gone too long. But I think it's 7, not 5, yeah. But anyhow, they all run together. So you're in one and you don't even know you've left it and gone to another one, so that they just run into each other. But you're right, Nancy. Has he been a bad boy? My vehicle is a mess. I cleaned the windshield, but it didn't do a bit of good. Yeah. Oh, did you really? Yeah, so you're familiar with it? Yeah. Oh, that Bethesda Naval Hospital? Yeah, this is that big military area. Lots of military. I respect them. The families especially, because not only does the military person sacrifice, but the family sacrifices. Was it fun? Did you like it? You know, some kids do well as military kids and some kids don't. You know, that constant moving or relocating, it's hard. Is that right? Mrs. Deuce, life is always interesting, huh? Oh, yeah, they all looked alike. Yeah, for sure, for sure. We had really good friends, and he was in the military, and he was an officer, so we got to go and visit the ship, and you know, he would take us on tour of his ship wherever he was stationed at that time, and then um, we got to eat in the real important part of the ship once, and I felt really bad for the young boys that was like serving us dinner. And then to go to the ceremony, like when they're changing, I can't remember now what it's called, when they're changing their rank. Oh, I just had it on top of my tongue and I can't remember now what it was, but just the ceremonies that they have and all, it's very, very cool. Yeah, it's a totally different kind of life if you've never ever been around that. So I appreciate it because I lived here for 24 years. So even if you know somebody that's in the military and they've not been deployed overseas, or they've not been deployed to go into a war or fight in a battle, they still go through a lot because they get moved around usually every 2 years. They don't get to stay very long. You know, it's hard on a marriage when you're married to a military person. So, you know, you need to show them respect because that's a hard life. It's a hard life, and they give their life to serve that duty. Oh, that's very cool, Gator. And yeah, the Arlington Cemetery is something else if no one's ever been there. Could you imagine being the Marine standing at the door now? Yeah, probably being young made a big difference, probably helped. But what an experience, you know, that was a great experience. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I couldn't imagine that poor Marine now, any of them. Car you were supposed to merge over. going through the Great Dismal Swamp. That's where we are right now. This is true. Big difference in the traffic. You're right, Gator. Even when I was on 95, as soon as it got dark, it seemed like the traffic changed. That was weird. And just think, if I'd had all my subs, I could have gotten all my hours knocked out with this trip. I would have had all my hours on YouTube. Because you have to have 4,000 hours. So if I had 1,000 subscribers, they don't have to watch for 4 hours. And I'd have my subscribers and my time in. And I would have been good to go. The Bates Motel. I've had a few experiences like that too. Oh my goodness. Creepy, creepy. I had one not too long ago. I had to go to West Virginia and to a smaller town, and all the hotels were booked. And I really didn't want to book this one, but it was the only one that was available. So I hesitantly booked it, but I didn't want to stay there, only because I knew the history of the hotel. Now get this, it's a big building, but I used to work in this building, and it has this massive basement, but it used to be a hospital, and they turned it into a hotel. And I knew people had died there, and I didn't want to stay there, but I didn't have any choice. Now talk about when I went to check in, knowing the history of that, knowing that I've seen people die in there, then I had to stay there. And as soon as I turned that freaking light off, it was dark. I mean, and the hotel rooms still looked like the hospital rooms. That was the creepy part. It had regular beds in it, but it still had the hospital. Everything was still the same. They didn't knock down any walls, nothing. The bathroom still, yeah, it was just, I was in a hospital room. So as soon as the light went out, I'm like, oh my God, it was pitch black in there. I'm like, I can't do this. I've got to open up the window, the curtain, and have some daylight. And as soon as I pulled that curtain back, the fog had moved in, and the fog was so thick you couldn't see out the window. And I thought, oh my God, that's just all I need. Now here I am in this haunted hotel. The fog has moved in, and what's going to happen to me tonight? And I had to stay there 2 nights, maybe 3 nights. For sure 2 nights. It wasn't good. Okay, little truck. Yeah, then there was an incident that happened in the shower. that something jumped off the little shelf and flew, not just dropped into the shower with me, but flew out underneath the shower curtain across the floor. And I know it didn't fall by itself like that. So yeah, it definitely had the creep factor. And the key would never work in the door. I had to get the front desk to come up and help me. And then I asked him, I said, okay, tell me, is this place haunted? And he didn't come right out and answer me. And I said, well, you can tell me because I actually used to work here. So I know it was a hospital and I know people have died here. And then he kind of just looked at me and I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah. And I said, well, what about in the basement? You guys go down in the basement? And he goes, no, we don't go down in the basement too much. So he'd heard stories, but I could feel the creep factor when I walked in that door. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I just don't do spooky and creepy anymore or haunted. I don't want to be sleeping any place like that. When I went to England, we were staying in this really, really old place, so I knew it was going to be haunted. And I had to ask. And they said, we don't use room so-and-so. But to get to our room, we had to walk past this room. And so I'd walk on the far side of the hallway like that was going to protect me, you know. But England's got a lot of dark history, that's for sure. Nancy, I had to be brave. I didn't have any choice. There was no other place to go stay. The curtain, so I had daylight in there because it was just dark as could be in those rooms. Oh my goodness. But I think the creep factor was that I knew the history of the hotel. But the other part was, I think the room I actually had a patient die, and I swear to God that was the same room. That was the same room. Oh, we got traffic stopped. Not good. But I swear I had the same room that I know for a fact that a patient died in. Oh yeah, that makes a difference there, Gator. You gotta laugh. Oh, you can laugh. It's funny. It's funny, but it wasn't funny at the time that I was living it. And you want to hear the even? It wasn't funny, but now that I think back, it was funny. I had to go draw blood on the patient, and I stuck her finger, and I couldn't get any blood. And I went out to the nurse's station, and they go, "Oh, honey, she passed away. She had just died, and they hadn't covered her up or anything. She was still warm, and I was trying to get blood from her." Because, some patients, they just lay there, they don't move, I just made sure I had the right patient. But yeah, so she had just passed away. So that's why I know, I swear to God, that was the same freaking room. So now you can really laugh. elevator. I swear it was the same room she died in. I'm like, what is the freaking odds that I would get the same room? Because it's still very vivid in my mind. I'm like, why didn't they do something, so I would know that she'd passed. They didn't cover up, they didn't shut the door, nothing. And I used to work down in the basement. There's no windows, and the morgue was down there. So I'm like, I wouldn't even take the elevator down into that basement. That's spooky anyhow. Oh, couldn't even imagine. You can laugh. Now, I mean, I've laughed at myself for the longest time, and it's like, well, bless her little heart. Here I am. She's passed away, and I'm trying to get blood from her. I mean, luckily I was only doing a finger stick, but still. Gator, that was my thought too. She was speaking to me. One of those little bottles of shampoo flew off the little shelf up there, and it should have dropped like at my feet because the shower itself had a lip at least 2 inches tall. So when it hit there and the shower curtain came down to that, it should have hit the shower curtain or that tile and stopped. But it didn't. It flew out over that tile and out probably a foot or more into the floor. And like, there's no way that just fell and that happened. I knew it was her because I'm like, I know, that all happened for a reason. It all happened for a reason. But I'm like, oh. And the door, you'd have to try the door like 30 times before the key would work in it. It was so freaking frustrating. And it was probably her. So y'all can laugh at me. That was my story of that spooky hotel that I used to work at as a hospital. Never dreamed I always, when they told me they were making it into a hotel, I'm like, I will never go stay there ever, because I'm like, I'll never go there and stay. And then I had to. I didn't have any choice. That's when my brother was sick and I had to go, and there was no place to stay. I'm like, daggone it. So I put my big girl panties on and braved it, but then I'm like, it was so spooky. There's always construction on this road. Always. My dad used to live real close to here. To the left here. He lived there for several years before he came to Florida for the last few months of his life. Oh, now I gotta get over. What is it with all these roads? Oh yeah, the full moon. Of course it would be. Getting close. I'm not, I mean, I've been, but not since there's been so much building and stuff. I don't know exactly where I'm going. Yeah, and that storm is hitting Florida with a full moon, which that affects the tides and stuff too. And then just the way it's coming in, and then it's making a big turn back. It's odd too what it's doing. Because I think they said there's a high or something up north that's pulling it up that way, but it's just weird what it's doing. And this bridge that we're coming up to is called the high-rise bridge, and it's built up so the big boats can go underneath of it. But I think they're building a new bridge is what I was told. See, I've been gone and I've lost track, but I think they told me they were building a new bridge higher up. This is actually the Gator. This is actually the intercoastal waterway we're crossing underneath this bridge. So you know the same one that's in Florida is the same one that connects all the way down. Yep, yep. We used to go ride our Sea-Doos on here. There's a power plant near here on the left over here, and it kept the water a whole lot warmer. I'm sure there was things in the water from that the power plant that shouldn't have been in there. Oh, Nancy, that is so hard. That is so hard. And I'm sorry if we touched on a very touchy subject for you. But that is so difficult. And prayers to you and your family going through that. Bless you. That might be why I glow at night. You're right. See, you never know what other people are going through. You know, people just have to treat others well because you know you just never know the struggles. We can look happy and smile and you know have that fake happiness going on, but people really do have struggles and are going through a lot. So just treat people well. Nancy, the only thing I can tell you, only because I've gone through it myself, is we have to remember that when they're ready to go, we have to let them go. We can't want to keep them here for us. And that was the hardest thing. I had to tell my mom, if you need to go, it's okay to go. And she looked at me and she goes, go where? Because she wasn't ready. But I had to have my dad to understand, so I knew his heart would be broken. But I said, Dad, we can't have her hold on for us any longer. We've got to let her go when it's time for her to go. And the next day, he was like a different person. He understood that, and he totally accepted that. So I don't know if that helps you at all, but just know that let her go when she's ready to go. Don't try to keep her here for you, because it is painful and it hurts. But do what's best for her, and just know that she'll be healed. And just, it's hard no matter what, Nancy. So we're here if you ever need to talk, or just whatever you might need. No, I appreciate you, being able to share that with us. And we're here. We're here for you always. Even, we could be talking about anything else in the world, but you know what? Come on and say, hey, I'm really having a hard time. I'm struggling here. We're here for you. Gator Girl and I, the other people here, just say, hey, I'm having a hard time. Or you can even go on to like if I've done a live in the morning, you can go on and add a comment to that, and I get that. So just let me know if you need prayer or you need just to talk or something. We'll be there for you as much as we can, in whatever way we can, okay? Yeah, see, Nancy, Gator has lost her son not too long ago, so it's hard and it's painful. Absolutely. It's never easy. Oh, you're welcome. And my aunt that was on here earlier, she just lost her husband as well. It's hard. It's hard, but we've got to be there for each other. I lost my mom when she was only 58. And yeah, that's young. That's very young. So it's never easy. It just never is. So see, my aunt, she just popped back on there, and she just lost her husband. And it's everyone's struggling. It's hard, and there's no easy way to do it. You can't just, people say, oh, well, it'll get better, or just go on. But it's hard. You have to go through that grieving. You have to go through that process. Thank you for popping on there. I just wanted to know if you were still there. And I know it's a struggle for you every day, so. And now life is different. Life has changed because you have to be with somebody for so long. So much respect for everyone. Oh, yesterday and today has been a struggle. And you're going to have the good days and you're going to have harder days, and probably keeping your mind busy and occupied helps. When you have more free time or idle time, that makes it harder. Oh, Nancy, yes, that's wonderful that you had her so long. What a blessing that is. My aunt knows the hotel that I'm talking about, the creepy place. She knows the place. There's always reminders, because I don't think you guys can see her comment. She said there's always reminders. So absolutely, and sometimes they'll remind you. It's their way of letting you know, hey, I'm still with you. My mom did that for me. I'm like, okay, Mom. Or things would be misplaced or whatever. And it's like there's no way that could be gone or moved or whatever. And sometimes it's just a smell. It's just something small. And you go, oh, okay, that. All right, I'm trying to find my way, folks. I'm close. And I think right in there. I haven't been here forever, but is this it? Nope, another light. Yeah, everyone grieves different and in their own time. Yes, Tammy, I am going to meet. This storm is going to come up here and meet me. Are you okay? Are you going to be all right where you are? This is crazy, all these storms we're having. I can't believe I'm up here and not home at. So you're going to be okay. All right. I heard it just became a hurricane. So, well, everyone be careful. I'm almost to my destination, believe it or not, 13 hours and 10 minutes later. Um, so anyhow, thanks for riding along with me. Let me see where I've got to go here. I'm almost there, less than 5. I may pop in, you never know. I am going to try to live stream the wedding reception. Book or everyone take care. And Sue, hang in there. I love you. I know your heart's broken and I know you're grieving, but he's always with you, okay? Nancy, stay strong. You got this. I love you all. Thanks for riding along, and I'll see you next time.